All right, you guys, let me check, make sure we're good. Hold on. Okay, we're live. I just have to make sure every single time. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lillian coming with another video. We are continuing with our series for Streamtober. I am going to go live 2 times today. I'm gonna go live now and I'm gonna go live maybe a little later, but before the sun go down. The sun is going down a little sooner than I anticipated. Like the lighting, I don't know. So we have to get this done or whatever. So I just want to let y'all know. Also, some other housekeeping things. If you want me to make your audio affirmations, I did put that link on my website just to try it out or whatever like that. So yeah, I did. It's $15. I feel like that's fair. But just, yeah, I put that on my website. Also, I'm working with my mom. We're gonna get some shirts made and stuff. So I'm really excited. But that probably won't be coming out till maybe like Thanksgiving, Christmas or something like that. I had made these designs over the summer and I was cleaning out my planner, found my stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to be doing that. I be having too much going on. But anyway, the meaning of this video, this video is going to really hit, because last time we was on here, we was looking at our old pictures and stuff like that. And so I was thinking about nostalgia, being a millennial, when was your happiest time in your life? Not saying that we don't have more time left, but like, I feel like as a millennial, like we are always like getting like nostalgic vibes from different TV shows, social media, like everything, you know what I mean? And now Y2K is now a theme. Like kids want to dress up like how I was in school. And y'all, it's really hitting me that I'm turning 32. Like it is really like just before this video, I was cleaning out my closet. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be a whole new vibe. We're going to have a whole new wardrobe. Not really, but just like finally being able to become the person I always wanted to be. So really quick, when you think of your happiest time, what era or age pops up and why? If you want to share it, obviously. For me, I think about college, specifically undergrad. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of freedom. Okay, I had a lot of good times in college. And I think I really enjoyed who I blossomed. I was able to become my own person, make my own choices and decisions without, too many people saying anything. I remember specifically that I went out of the country without my grandmother knowing. And she called me and was like, hey, T-Mobile is saying that, somebody is out of the country and I'm at home and you should be in DC, but where are you? I just want to be sure because I know I'm at home. And I was like, yeah, I'm on the bus. Bus where? We just got from the airport. I may or may not have, and that was a whole thing. Okay. We was booking trips. We were booking trips. I got my first apartment, wanting to stay off the rocker or whatever and have your own apartment. I had a roommate, we were roommates in the dorms or whatever. And then we got our own apartment, got my first refund check and different things of that nature. Blew a bag in Forever 21 because Forever 21 was popping. Woke up in the middle of the night. Why are we spending so much money? And that was a whole thing. I had a mouth. I told my grandma, this is my money. And she's like, I don't, what I'm saying? And she's in the middle of the night, like a smooth 2:00 in the morning, I want to see returns. Okay. I want to see returns. I don't care whose money it is. You not spending $700 in Forever 20. It was a good time. It was a good time to be alive. Got myself together, really experimented with makeup. That's actually how you know what I'm saying? Like I learned so much about myself. You know what I mean? How I show up in relationships and how others, you know, show up in relationships toward me, you know, friendships, all of that stuff, you know. And so, yeah, and I feel like ever since I graduated college, I have been trying to recreate the energy. I feel like back then I had so much fire, so much energy to like get things done. And I still feel like I have that energy now, but now it's like, girl, you know, as far as the dieting, no, we're not going into them crazy diets. Like, we just cannot do that. That's not going to work. But then also, like, I can't, I don't think I was sleeping like that for real. Or maybe I was sleeping and I was waking up whenever I wanted to. Like, I could schedule my classes. Like, I scheduled my classes when I wanted to. I was doing online classes. So now it's like having to work and not having too much control over your schedule. That does a lot for me because I need that creative control, but I also need that time to like do things in my own time. I need autonomy, right? And I had the autonomy when I was in college. Like, I had the time, like I could do it whenever I wanted to, and it was gonna get done. Don't worry about it. Boom, 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 boom. But now being an adult, oh my God, you know, people emailing you and they want to text and call and all this other stuff. It's just too much for me. Too much. And then you have to sit in meetings and all the other stuff. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's like we're trying to recreate the past. You know, we're trying to grow up, obviously. We are trying to grow up, make big girl decisions and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, dang, I missed having fun. Where is the fun? We're trying to recreate it, you know? And I feel like the reason nostalgia feels so good is because I feel like when you look over the past, your brain has a, you know, tendency to gloss over all of the crazy stuff that happened. I'm not gonna lie. I don't gloss over the crazy stuff. Like, we had some times, like, you know, there was a time where we was out of the country and one of the friends wanted to go off the reservation, right, off the resort or whatever, and was talking to this man. And I was like, why did we doing all of that? But we did it anyway, right? And then we get to the situation and they ordering too much. And I'm like, you know, I'm right, but I'm still in my right mind. And I'm like, you know, how much are they asking us to pay for all of this? It was crazy. Anything could have happened to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, God be really protecting us for real, because anything could have happened. I remember a time we was in New York. My friend, her luggage was too much and they was not letting us on the bus. They had them dollar buses. We were taking dollar buses to New York from DC, and it was fun. And we had to wait in the hotel lobby because the bus wouldn't take us because she had too much luggage. And they was not letting her pay to put the luggage on. Like, she thought she could pay and they was going to just take it. And I was like, girl, what if they don't have room? They didn't have room. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. We were doing crazy stuff. We were going to Virginia Beach. Like, we were having fun, right? And so it's just kind of like, you know, I remember us having fun, but in the times, it was anxiety inducing. I know for a fact that I was stressing my parents out. I was stressing my dad out. I was stressing my grandmother, my mom. They were stressed out for real. And they were in Mississippi and Texas and Florida. They were stressed out from wherever I was. And, you know, I feel like I could have made better choices, but at the same time, I'm glad that I was able to learn from those decisions. But it was just fun. It was my safe space. I get to be chaotic, right? You know, and so now it's like we don't want to create the chaos, but we need that sense of spontaneity. I don't feel like, you know, I have the spontaneity. And so we're trying to recover it. You know what I mean? So something that came up was like, do you miss the past or do you miss the person you were allowed to be back then? You know what I mean? Back then, you could just do whatever you want whenever you get ready. But now, bills are due every month. You know, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you have to make those payments every single month. And you know what? I have never missed a payment. But the thing is, it's like, back then, I feel like things were less expensive than they are now. And it's like every year, things keep getting more expensive. And it's just like, I'm making more money, but it's like, when does the amount of money that I'm making balance off with the fact that things are getting more expensive. So I'm balancing the budget. My grandmother taught me how to balance that checkbook. You have to make more than you're spending. Yes, 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 yes. But it's like, you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, the adulthood that was promised to me is not giving what it was supposed to give the way I thought it was. Like, that's not what it was. You know what I mean? And so that is something that I've been reflecting on. Like, you know, is this what we signed up for? But now it's too late because, baby, you about to be 32. So it's just like, you know, all of that is sitting with me right now, you know? And so I like when I got to college that I was able to start over. You know what I mean? New people, new vibes, you know. But what I'm noticing is, you know, now that all of that is over, okay, you get to look at things from a bird's eye view. You get to look at things from the outside. So maybe some of those friendships or connections or even relationships were not the best for me, okay? Because we was definitely in, you know, some choice situations, which is why we can sit here and tell you like, hey, it ain't worth it. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, I don't know, like you live and you learn, but you have to live to learn, right? Yeah, we had a time. And I feel like, you know, it's an emotional trap, you know, because you get to comparing your back then to now, and you feel like, you know, back then the history, that's as good as it's going to get. Some people, you know, high school and college, that's the highlight of their lives and they have nothing else to show for it. Not saying that, you know, what they've done now, you know, there's nothing, but it's just kind of like, I don't want my life to just stop at those experiences, but we've been struggling to, you know, what can we do to spearhead new experiences and things of that nature? You know, as an adult working full time, it is hard to, you know, create new friendships, new connections because you're working all the time and you're tired. And then also, you know, it's the anxiety of like going out and like trying different things. You know, you don't know how people are going to react. You don't know how people are going to take it and different things of that nature. And I feel like when we're older, we kind of get set in our ways and stuff. And you're just like, girl, you know what I mean? It's just too much. It is just too much, you know. So yeah. I think for me though, I will say it has been kind of hard for me to, because I care for people so deeply, it's hard for me to let go of those old friendships. You know what I mean? But with us being separated and everything like that, it's just kind of like we all grow apart, right? And then we all have our own lives. You know, and then something that was very eye-opening for me was just like, you know, you think that the friendship is good, but was it? You know what I mean? Like there are things that get a little exacerbated when you are separated. Like, are you always the friendship person? I'm sorry. Are you always the friend that is going and meeting them? Or are they ever going to come and see you? If you're in a long distance relationship or whatever, are you always the one that's traveling, or are they ever going to come and travel to see you? Are you always, you know, making space for others, or when are they going to make space for you? And no, it's not tit for tat, but it's just like, you know, when you're separated, you start, you know, being able to take a little inventory, just a little emotional vibe, just to see if the relationship, the connection, or the friendship is equally yoked. And oftentimes it's not. And sometimes that separation teach you stuff that you didn't think you knew. Like it's time for us to pay attention to a couple of things. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I can be possessive and everything like that because I be wanting, you know, to be with my friend. Like I be wanting to be with my relationship partner or whatever, but it's just kind of like, you can't be more to them than they are to you. Like it has to be a balance, right? It has to be a balance, and you can't always be showing up for other people because who is going to show up for you, right? And you learn that as an adult, and that is a tough pill to swallow. That is hard to take, for real. Excuse the lighting. I tried to get on here earlier so that the lighting would be better. You know what I mean? And then also, like, as you grow up, you realize that you're not the person that you used to be, right? Like, you want to change your hair, you want to change your looks, you want to change this, and that. And as you change, other people might not be willing to accept you the way that you're trying to do. Like you're trying to, they want the regular degler schmegler, but you're trying to be, you're trying to evolve. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with some people wanting to stay the same, but then also there's nothing wrong with wanting to evolve and transition and to just transform, right? But it's just like, it's a natural reaction for people to just kind of fall away or whatever, because they're used to the norm. They like, stability and all this other stuff, so it's just kind of like, what happens when you're not that person anymore? The things that you used to accept, you're not accepting anymore. The things that you used to do, like clubbing and, stuff like that, you don't do that no more. I don't like going to the clubs. Do not invite me to that. They know that don't do that. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, well, what do you do for fun? And you have to, everybody is not going to want to read books all day. That's like I do. I like to be in my planner. I like to do my YouTube. I like to do my things. So it's just like, you have to venture out. And with venturing out comes that vulnerability, because you don't know how people are going to take you. And so that's some new anxiety. And I feel like that's why we have that loneliness epidemic, right? So, let me go in here. Okay. I feel like nostalgia, while it is good and it has its space, it does create this anxiety and fear of starting over. Same reason why a lot of people stay in the relationships that they've been staying in, marriages and all that stuff, because, it's easier to just get in where you fit in, right? Stick it with, the devil is better than the one you don't, like stuff like that, rather than actually go out and find, more meaningful relationships, or, with opening yourself up to new experiences and things like that. It is going to open you up to a potential heartbreak. You don't know. It's an unknown. And for that, like, that is anxiety inducing, right? So it's just kind of like, you have to know that, there's more on the other side, regardless, whether it's a win or a loss or whatever. Like, there's got to be something on the other side, and I don't have to accept and tolerate anything that I feel like, that is beneath me right now, and it's okay for me to evolve, right? And so never be afraid to start over, and then never be afraid like thinking that you'll never measure up, like you're never going to create experiences and connections and friendships and whatever better than the past, yeah, you probably be like, dating is not the same. And I feel like it might be a little different, but it's just like, I used to do a lot of online dating. I used to do a lot of online dating. I was having a good time. I was going outside. Okay. Do you hear me? I was outside, but it's just kind of like, that does not resonate with me anymore. Like online dating and stuff like that. Because I'm so analytical, I had a whole vibe of how I was doing my thing. I had it down pat, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, like over time, the online dating thing doesn't work for me. And then also, y'all, I like my alone time. I really enjoy my alone time. I like who I am becoming for myself, by myself, and to myself, that I would rather just meet someone on the regular, like just walk in or whatever. And that would be better for me. That's what I think. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, the computer, like something wrong with it. They need to unplug it, plug it back up, the Ethernet, something's going on with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just feel like we don't need to have that fear, you know what I mean, of taking risks, failing publicly. That's another thing for me personally. Sometimes I be feeling like I'm failing. But at the same time, that'll be another video or whatever. But it's just like, girl, I be seeing people who are full-time failures. Like, I'm not even, this is another video, but I be seeing people that are full-time failures, like professional. Like, that is their job, to fail, and I love the commitment. I love the confidence. I love it. I really do. But it's just like, girl, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. And I have to remind myself, like, you're doing okay. That's probably going to be the next video. Let me not go too much on that one. But yeah, like, do not be afraid to fail publicly. Do not be afraid to waste time, because you're not wasting time. Your expansion, your transformation, your evolution is not a waste of time, because you get to become a better person, a different person. Like, it's all a part of the process. It really is. It really, really is. Okay. Something else, we can't move forward by pretending that the past didn't shape us, you know? So we're not trying to get rid of nostalgia entirely, because we respect those experiences that we had. Those experiences made us who we are. We wouldn't be where we are without having had those experiences, you know, but you can make space for it without living in the past. We cannot live in the past. I remember I was talking to this guy, you know, we went to school together, we had a little fun together and everything like that. And, you know, having a conversation with him, I could tell that he was still like thinking about college, like college, you know, and I'm getting ready to go to grad school. I'm getting ready to do this. I'm getting ready to do that. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, I'm not going to let nobody slow me down, because they're ready to, I feel like, because we're getting older, we just looking for reasons to get married. We just need to check these things off our list. And I'm not trying to check that off the list right now. That's not, you know what I mean? I'm going to wait forever. If I have to be a spinster, with give me another dog or whatever the case may be, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to just be in a relationship and just talk to somebody or date someone just because they're feeling a void within themselves, and they have like I'm trying to fill my life up with myself, and somebody can tag along if that's what they want to do. But we're not living in the past. We're not reliving college. We're not doing all of that. We're creating new experiences outside of what, you know what I mean? Like, we're building upon what we have already done. So yes, but we can hold space for it. That's why I have so many playlists with old music on there. You know what I mean? But I'm not doing all. We living in the now. Living in the now, you guys. Okay, so nostalgia is not bad. It's human, right? But don't feel like you have to shrink. Back in the day, I felt like I had to shrink for other people, to be accepted by other people. I couldn't, like, even though I got to be myself in college, but I noticed, like, once I made my friends or whatever, it's like the moment I tried to venture out, try different things, you know, different outfit, it was always something, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you think you this, you think you that. And so we leave high school going to college thinking that we're getting rid of stuff, right? We're getting rid of these interactions, but then we get it again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to develop that mental strength or whatever to just be like, I'm gonna be who I am regardless, you know, and I don't care what people think about me regardless. Like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do what I want to do, period. And I don't care if I'm making a fool of myself. I do not care. I literally do not care. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to have happiness. I'm going to have peace, and I'm going to do what makes me like have happiness and joy and everything, abundance, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like I was rapping. I'm trying to make sure I got my notes together. Trying to make my notes to go, you know, making sure I have my notes. But yeah, like this, I just wanted to share that with y'all because I was just cleaning my closet out and it gave me anxiety because I have been holding on to so many things. Like, I think I be holding on to stuff, y'all. I'm not a hoarder. But I am concerned because I keep the clothes, because it's not just the clothes, it's the memory attached to it. And I remember where I wore it, right? And what I was doing. I was having a good time. You know what I mean? And it's like, dang, I never get to wear that anymore, right? But then also I wouldn't wear it because that's not what I would do. I wouldn't wear, I just wouldn't wear that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not who I am now. You know, and maybe I'm justifying getting rid of the clothes so I can buy some new ones, but that is not the point. The point is, wow, we've been holding on to things and the memories attached to it, and now we're getting older, you guys. I feel like my next couple of lives are going to be with the fact that I am getting older and it's hitting me, y'all. It's hitting me, you know? And so my goal for real going into 32 is to create more opportunities where I can be more social. You know what I mean? Like being more social, creating more abundance and happiness in my life as a role of now, not looking into the past, trying to recreate, because when I think about being in this apartment, the reason I moved into this apartment is because I wanted to have the walkability of DC. You see what I'm saying? That's why I moved into this apartment. And that's why it means so much that I'm here, because it reminds me so much of DC. But it's just kind of like, you know, I don't know. But it's just like we're I don't want to say mourning, but we're mourning that era and we're coming into a new era. You know, we're bringing in new fruition. And I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like good things are coming. It's time to make way for new things, positive things, happy times. And I'm just speak that over y'all as well, because I know in my other ones I was depressed, but now we're happy. So it's just like, girl, but I was just like, you know, it's okay for us to, you know, 90s kids to have fun with the things and the rugrats and everything like that, but just don't stay there, right? Don't stay there. Create new. And don't be afraid of trying different things, okay? So I will see you in the next video, probably in the next hour or so, because I'm doing 2 a days because I need to get caught up. I am doing Streamtober, where I try to stream every day for the entire month, okay? So these videos are going to be a little shorter, okay? They're going to be a little shorter, probably about 25, 35 minutes, okay? Daily, but I'm going to get it together, okay? So I'll see you in the next one.